that is the whole thing with this particular proposed immigration rule. Overtly, it looks as though it seeks to prevent illegal immigration into the UK. But then, if you look at it holistically, if you look at it from all angles, it prevents everyone from coming into the UK.
Hi, welcome to the conversation. I'm Eleanor Sakirnaud, and today I'm speaking to Elliot Nuertey. He's a journalist, a reporter, and also the community manager for the media firm Africa Web, which comprises Ghana Web and My Nigeria, which most of us are familiar with. He's also a digital media and communication professional. Thank you very much for joining us at the conversation.
Hello, thank you for the opportunity too.
Thank you. Okay, well, let's talk about the big topic of today. And that perhaps concerns you because I understand you were looking to perhaps do a master's degree in the UK and you're from Ghana. So Prime Minister Rishi Sunak made a speech on the UK's new illegal migration law on December 7th, one that he's managed to overcome certain hurdles or ignore the Supreme Court and carry on, and he's trying to push it through Parliament today. It's not a done deal yet, but certainly this Rwanda bill never seems to leave the agenda. So what does that mean, do you think, for the UK's image abroad today?
Well, the proposed legislation, let me put it that way, is more or less like a coin which has two sides. Now, for a UK national living outside the UK, it is good news because if you look at the proposed policy, obviously you get the indication that the UK government is trying to fulfill the manifesto promise or the policies it promised before being elected into office. So for someone who is a UK citizen, this is a good news. Should this policy go through and then be assented as law, then it means that the average UK skilled citizen is going to have their minimum wage increased to £38,700. And I think that is good news looking at the current world economic status. But then looking at this policy as an outsider, as a foreigner who is looking at achieving their dreams through maybe having access to the United Kingdom, this is what I would describe as a diplomatic way to push everyone outside the UK. Because if you look at the component of the proposed immigration rules, it is draconian in nature. So we expect healthcare workers and then health workers to leave their countries, leave their families, come to the UK, take care of people's families without not considering what is happening to their families back home. Because if healthcare workers can no longer bring their dependents to UK, what it means is that they're going to take care of people's children, they're going to take care of people's aged relatives, and then abandon theirs at home. And I think, to me, that does not paint a good picture of the United Kingdom. Looking at what the United Kingdom has always stood for centuries now as a country that can be described as the melting point of the world, where you can have every national, every person from diverse cultural backgrounds come to the UK and come and achieve their dreams there. Should this legislation be passed law or should this proposed legislation be made law, I think that is really going to have a bad image on the UK and it's going to make the UK very unattractive to come to. I mean, what am I coming to do in the UK if I can't bring my family along, if I cannot be united with my family? The UK is good, but then being there without my family and then having no assurance at all that I'm going to be united with them, I don't think it makes the country attractive at all.
Yes, so it sounds like the US under Trump, really, and then continued. But this particular law, the Rwanda bill, as mainstream media calling it, it concerns illegal migration. So the whole Stop the Boats pledge that Rishi Sunak had and those before him, unsuccessfully, I might add. So it seems to be deterring even those who want to migrate legally, like yourself.
Yes. So
why is that?
That is the whole thing with this particular proposed immigration rule. Overtly, it looks as though it seeks to prevent illegal immigration into the UK. But then if you look at it holistically, if you look at it from all angles, it prevents everyone from coming into the UK. So I had wanted to pursue my clinical psychology in the UK with the intentions of uh, having to take the graduate route. That is, after my 2 years of master's study, I get to work in the UK for 2 years. And if I'm retained on full time by any company or healthcare, then I apply for citizenship or I apply for permanent residency. I was looking at that, and that is the legitimate way of doing it, of migrating through schooling. But now this new policy is looking at reviewing it such that uh, it makes it more difficult to secure. Do you get it? Now they are just shifting the goalposts from you having a graduate degree in the UK to have access to the graduate route to having a study or having to pursue a research intensive program. That one alone makes the whole system very biased. It makes it very almost impossible for me who want to even come to the UK legitimately to do so. It makes it impossible for me to come, and it also makes the UK very unattractive for me to come to. So that is where the issue is. Let's also look at it from the health sector, where someone is a trained nurse, say in Ghana, in Nigeria, in South Africa, and is seeking to relocate to the UK to apply their trade there. Initially, such person could come to the UK, and after working a year or two, having acquired or attained the 18,000 £600 that is needed for them to achieve annually to be able to locate their dependent to the UK, they would be able to do that. But now the goalposts have been shifted from £18,600 to £38,700 for someone to be able to relocate their dependent to the UK. I don't stay in the UK, so I cannot tell accurately, but how many people earn £38,700 in the UK?
Good question. I certainly didn't. So so yeah,
Yes, so
not easy.
so if you look at it from that angle, then it tells you that really it's not about the Prime Minister Sunak preventing illegal immigration, it's about he preventing anyone at all from getting into the UK and making the UK a hub for the top 1% of the world to come to. I bet you say that even the United States is just the top 1% or say the top 10% of their citizens that can amass £38,700 in a year. Do you get it? That is going to have a whole lot of effect on the UK economy. Now, prior to this interview, I read some articles that revealed that the international students alone contribute about £41 billion to the UK economy. Meanwhile, the UK government spent about 4.4 billion in catering to the expenses of international students. So look at how much profit the UK government is making on having international students alone in their country. Do you get it? Now, if this proposed immigration rules are accepted, then it means that the numbers of international students that will be applying to the UK is going to reduce, and it's also going to have huge impact on the UK economy. Let's look at labor. Let's look at what happened when the discussions on Brexit concluded. We had a lot of that was when we realized that the UK labor force is being dominated by the uh, Europeans and then people who are not true UK nationals. You realize that productivity came to a halt. You realize that it got to it was in the news that you couldn't even get certain things at the grocery stores in certain quantities because people to convey them from one factory to the other or from the farms to the supermarkets were not doing so. Do you get it? If you look at the health sector, primary healthcare givers and then social workers, that sector is being dominated by immigrants. If they should go away or if they should return to their countries because of this new immigration law, what is going to happen? I would like to quote the spokesperson for the Scottish National Party, Chris Stevens, right, who categorically said that the UK is going to be in trouble should this particular proposed legislation be passed or be accepted into law, because we have a lot of people in his exact word, he said, we are not going to get a lot of healthcare professionals to take care of us because it is immigrants that are doing this kind of work. It is immigrants that are the truck drivers. It is immigrants that are working in their farms. Do you get it? So if this rule is going to push away immigrants, then what is going to happen to the UK economy? Who is going to take care of the kids in the home for that, say, high career family that depends on immigrants to take care of their family, to raise their children, to see to the aged. Who is going to cater for that? Now, if when the Home Secretary spoke in Parliament, he made mention that the UK government is spending more on immigrants because, according to him, the UK officially has 100,000, say, health workers in the UK, and then they have over 125,000 dependents. Out of these dependents, only 25% of them are working, but he didn't state categorically the number of these dependents who are children, the number of these dependents who are unable to work. So the question is, are you expecting every dependent of an immigrant worker to work irrespective of their age, irrespective of their mental capability, irrespective of their health? Those are the things we should look at in evaluating this proposed legislation. So it looks good on the outside, but it's really not a good thing to get it. So to me, I don't think this is something that should be accepted by the UK government. I'm getting an indication that it is 3 months or barely 4 months to national elections. We promised to cut down the net numbers of immigrants in the country. So we are going to do it at all costs, which I think a country as UK should not be towing that line.
I couldn't agree more. I thought the same with Brexit, although I'm only part British, I think like many Brits who've worked or lived abroad, none of us expected it to actually happen. But I think once they've decided to go forward with something, they never go back. So unfortunately, I suspect this isn't going to be the last we're going to be hearing about this bill. But let's hope for the best, but be prepared for the worst. So if not the UK, which countries would you be looking at? Which are the most attractive today and the most welcoming? Because we're also in a fairly, I'd say, hostile environment globally where visas aren't easy in any direction, although some African countries are opening up altogether.
Yeah, so in Africa currently, or on the West African bloc now, the most attractive countries to visit now are the United States of America and then Canada. Just like the UK is recruiting immigrant health workers, Canada is also doing same in very large scale. And the US is not recruiting health workers like the UK and then the Canada, but as we all know, US is more or less like the dream country for most people or for most nationals of the world. So this year has in Ghana specifically, we've witnessed about 100% increase in the number of people who have applied for the American lotteries. Same numbers have been recorded, the number of students who have applied to study or further their studies in the UK, both at the undergraduate level, the graduate and the postgraduate level. So because of some of these things, already there's this notion that it's among Ghanaians that it's very difficult to make a living in the UK because of the tax system. You get it? Because of the tax system, it's very difficult to make a living or to save money in the UK. So most people would ordinarily come there because they have assured work and because of the promise that after working a year or two, they'll be able to relocate their dependents to that country. And now that particular provision is being cleared because of this new proposed immigration rule. So the UK is not attractive as it stands now in the country. So for now, if I should look at studying abroad for my clinical psychology, then I'll be going to the United States of America, yes, to do that because acquiring an F1 visa, yeah, that's why I think the student's visa is called in the UK. In the US is very easy. All what you have to do is to secure admission from an accepted or an accredited university in the US, apply for scholarship and get it. Then, if you have no criminal records, it will be easier for you to for you to acquire your student visa and then go and study in the UK. In Canada, it's quite tedious because schools in Canada do not really give out scholarship for students. and you have to pay a huge sums of money for health insurance before you are able to secure student visa to travel and study in Canada. So for now, I think the most attractive country to study in is the United States of America, looking at all the factors on the table. Yes, I think US is the dreamland now. Yeah.
Interesting. So back to the American dream. Who knew?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. Sorry. So Europe's off the table.
Yeah.
Interesting.
So in the choice of the country to school in outside Ghana depends on the view we have, the local view we have, or the local perception we have about the country we intend to. So in Ghana, not every European country is regarded or is well respected or is seen as reputable. Getting a degree or getting a master's degree from the UK is very valuable and can land you a top-notch job in Ghana. Getting a master's degree in Canada is very valuable, is cherished in Ghana, can land you a great job in Ghana. Getting a master's degree in the US, in France, in Germany, sorry, helps a lot in pushing your career. So it's not just about going to Europe. I don't think schooling in Poland or having a qualification from Poland is equivalent to having a qualification from the US or from the UK, because
It's
really they're not,
interesting, you know?
yes, really they're not the same country. So all these factors play a role in deciding what country you are going to work in. Now in Africa,
Interesting that you should mention Poland, because Poland has some of the best universities and one of the countries with the most Nobel Award winners. And they're very keen to promote and help people, whether they're Polish or not. So Marie Curie got her Nobel, she got her university degree there. As Prime Minister, former Prime Minister of Israel also. So there's a number of people were in Poland for their studies.
Yes, that's why I mentioned earlier that it's really not about the country. It's about the perception we have at home. So in as much as Poland has a great GDP, Poland is very acceptable to immigrants. It's easier for immigrants to get work and then even secure work as students. What matters the most is how people view it. It's how people view the degree or the qualification you be coming home with.
Yeah, so how you can monetize that back.
Yes. Not every employer in Ghana is knowledgeable about how great Poland as a country is. You get it? It's just like having a degree from Harvard. There's no way you can fail in Ghana with a degree from Harvard. There's no job you are not going to get with a degree from Harvard or having a degree from Yale, having a degree from Cambridge.
Understood. Although things are changing education-wise globally, as we well know as well, it's been reported on quite a lot. Certainly in the UK, I think grammar schools are doing very well, as opposed to private schools or what we call public schools, in the league tables, and things are changing in terms of the top universities today. The league tables are changing quite a lot. So it's interesting. So now, just to change gear completely, let's talk about Ghana, because this is one thing certainly countries that receive a lot of migrants are realizing finally that maybe the best bet of kind of deterring people from wanting to come to the same country from around the world is to help them improve and develop their countries. Now, Ghana, obviously, we actually have a lot of Ghanaians in Parliament. We were talking about that yesterday. So you've got Lord Paul Boateng in the House of Lords. You've got Kwasi Kwarteng, who's had a bit of a rough ride under Liz Truss. But, you know, very, very important within the government of the UK. However, how is Ghana doing economically, despite having had quite a lot going for it, besides gold, besides gold and tourism? You know, we thought Ghana was going to lead Africa forward economically, diplomatically, politically. What's happening?
Well, unfortunately, economically, we are not leading Africa. Economically, Nigeria is leading Africa. And even that is nothing to write home about. But funny you mentioned in gold. In as much as we are a country with a lot of gold as mineral resource, because we are not well industrialized, and then we depend on numerous external factors to even mine our goods. We have little coming to us in form of royalties, so we do not get maximum gains from the gold we have because the industry is dominated by private firms, and then entities is dominated by foreign nationals, and we just what we get as a country mostly is royalties. So we don't really get much from gold. Economically, as a state, we are recovering from an economic shock. We are currently on an IMF program with the hope of reviving our economy. So economically, we are not at a good place. Let me put it that way. So in 2016, we just ended an IMF program, and then 2021 we took it up again. At the moment, we are waiting for a second tranche of funds from the IMF to be able to put the economy on the right path. So Ghana currently is not good when it comes to the economy, and that is having a toll on the government as a whole. It's having a toll on businesses as a whole. Now, the private sector cannot employ much people. Government activity and expenditure has been slashed down because we do not have money to finance most activities of the government, and also to employ people into the private sector. So now the economy is being driven by the informal sector and also private entities that can employ people. So that is where Ghana will stand economy-wise. We are also heading into our election year. I think we are about 30 days into 2024, and that is our election year. So now everything is being told and then geared towards either the ruling party sustaining power and opposition also working very hard to, let me say, overthrow the government and implement what they think would revive Ghana's economy. That is where we are economically.
Thank you. Yes, so who's running against whom next year? What's happening?
This particular election era is very interesting. It is unique in the Fourth Republic of Ghana because for the first time we have a candidate breaking away from their political party to form a political movement by himself. So Alan Chamante is currently the leader of the movement for change. He doesn't call it a political party, so I would like to use the term political movement. And the name of the political movement is a movement for change. He seeks to form a united government where he stands as an independent candidate, and if he's elected by the Ghanaian populace, he would recruit his officials from all the political parties of Ghana. That is what he terms as a united government. He is from the New Patriotic Party. He's a stalwart of the New Patriotic Party. He lost.
So the current president's party originally.
Yes.
NPP.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. He lost the presidential primaries at the NPP level, and according to him, he lost not on fair grounds. He felt he was sabotaged, and this is not the first time. He's resigned from the NPP originally. I think in 2008 he resigned from the NPP, rejoined the party, served as the Minister for Trade under the current President Nana Dankwa Akufo-Addo, stood for flag bearer of the party and lost. You get it? And decided that this time around, I'm not going to resign. I'm going to form a new political movement, and if voted into office, head the change that I want to see in the country. We also have the current vice president, His Excellency Dr. Bawumia, elected as a vice president, elected as a flag bearer of the New Patriotic Party. So officially, he is the presidential candidate that would be representing the New Patriotic Party in the 2024 elections. John Dramani Mahama, the former president of the Republic of Ghana, who lost to President Nana Dankwa Akufo-Addo in the 2020 general elections, has also been elected as the flag bearer of the National Democratic Congress, and he will be representing the NDC in the 2024 election. So now we have three confirmed presidential candidates from two political parties and a political movement. So Alan John Tremante from the Movement for Change, Dr. Mahamudu Bawumia for the New Patriotic Party of the NPP, and then John Dramani Mahama for the NDC. Funny enough, for the first time, we have someone who wants to stand for president, but is towing the line of Robin Hood. So we have something we call the new force. I don't know if you've heard of it. Their representative was currently arrested. So it's more or less like, for now, I'll describe it as a political movement that is dominant on social media or is dominant on the internet. So we woke up one day and then we had billboards mounted in the capital of Ghana, Accra, with the indication the new force. And everyone was wondering, who is this new force? The person behind the new force is yet to unveil him or herself. So we don't really know who that person is, but from the billboards that we've seen in town about the new force, he is someone that seeks to assume political power and then bring about change, because his policies have also been circulated on the internet. So we have the NPP, the NDC, Movement for Change, and then the new force.
The new force, which is a surprise.
Yes, yes. So
that's
we are all
interesting marketing by the new force.
Yes, it's personally, I think it's interesting. But then the Ghanaian people culturally are not the type to be held in suspense. And then we are very particular about association. In Ghana, we practice a lot of politics of identity. So I don't vote for the person because I think he's competent. I vote for the person because of what he stands for. In that country, we have this funny joke that we say that the NPP can present a monkey as their flag bearer, and we would have, say, 40% or say a huge number of Ghanaians vote for the monkey because the monkey is on the ticket of the NPP. That is just to say how intense the politics of identity is in Ghana. So, in as much as the new force looks catchy and looks like a trendy thing to follow on the internet and then to use as a hashtag for internet traction and then social media traction, I don't think it's something that the Ghanaian people would want to. Now, personally, I'm looking forward to Alan Sherman, the Movement for Change guy, establishing a third force, because I feel that the NPP and NDC, which have been dominant and have ruled in the Fourth Republic of Ghana, have really not given us any change, substantive change that we want to see or that we wish our nation should have been able to realize in its 60 years or 60 plus years of independence. You get it? So I'm looking for a new political party to give us hope in politics and then to give us hope in politicians. But I don't see the new force, or yes, the new force as that thing. I don't see the new force as that movement because I feel like it's a joke. Do you get it? We are almost less than a month to an election year. By now, you should identify yourself. Yes, let us know who you are. Let us know your policies. Let us know what you think is wrong with the current government. Why you think the opposition party is not the way to go, and why you think Ghanaians should trust in you. I think that is what the new force should be looking at than playing games with us. And yeah, so basically that's what I think.
Interesting. Thank you so much for your time, Elliot. We're going to call it a day, but thank you so much for joining us at the conversation, and best of luck, and we'll see you soon.
Thank you. It's been great having this section with you.
Thank you.